talking about actors and healthcare. One that I came across was Conor Leslie, who was Wonder Girl in the Titans TV show on HBO Max, or now just Max. And if you look at her credits list, she's been a working actress for 10, 15 years, but there's not a whole lot of credits on her IMDb page currently. And she posted on her Instagram page, her getting a letter from the union, from SAG-AFTRA, pointing out that she's going to be losing her medical. And she will have to go on Cobra for medical care for her and her kids because she hasn't made, I think the post said something like $26,000 this year. So the fact that here she is, a working actress, hasn't been working as much lately, and here she is, middle of her career, successful career by all accounts, and she could be losing medical.
10 years ago, a woman with her credits, a lot of that would have been, look at Man in the High Castle, not television, streaming. You look at some of her credits, but she would have been a working, say, TV and movie actor. She wouldn't have been making 26 grand. Should have making maybe 36 and not getting bumped out, which is part of the core issue here, is that the way they've gamed this system, people who used to have a good, what most Americans would call middle-class income, are now, they've been getting shoved down over the last 10, 20 years, just making a lot less. Healthcare geared to employment and how much you're getting employed. How many part-time workers have a full healthcare? Not many. And she's becoming a part-time worker, or she's worried that it's becoming a profession where the only people who can do it are people who can afford to do it. Independently wealthy, or are they married well?
Which then limits the talent pool of the quality of the performances. For every Julia Louis-Dreyfus or Kate Mara, whose families are billionaires, they are great performers in their own right, but for the people that are coming up that are, say, Hilary Swank, who didn't come from money, who then had to prove themselves as actors and actresses, were then robbed of those performances.
You don't have the buffer. The Hilary Swanks are actually really rare. And Conor, well, she began when she was 15. God. A lot of people in LA, unless they're crew, come from some sort of means, because it costs so much to get the training and to put up with all the other crap before you get in. The rich people will own the operation, and then they'll provide all the good jobs will be taken by them.
And the one or two people that do make it through are the exceptions that prove the rule, not the exception to the rule.
But back to your comment about Conor Leslie. Well, yeah, that is one of the issues they're striking over. I think SAG should have had this fight 10 years ago when the WGA struck in the, 2007, 2008? But they're fighting it now. In the end, it still comes down to this was not happening in the 90s. It's happening now.
If you're talking about union votes like this, the vast majority of the members, at least according to these articles, are not the Tom Cruises. I mean, obviously Tom Cruise, Tom Hanks, all the big Toms, all the big Chris's, all the big Toms, all make pretty good money and are all members of these unions. But most of these actors in these unions of SAG-AFTRA are the working Joe actors. It would be interesting to see when it comes down to a vote, will the average Joe six-pack actor, whose vote counts just as much as Tom Cruise's vote, will there be enough of those votes to approve whatever that final deal is?
That's like any labor negotiation, right? It's a bit of an existential crisis for both these unions, and so that's why they got such a high vote, which is why Iger and all the other rich eggs, we're going to wait until they're hungry, that they're literally hungry, that their asses are out of their homes.
After the writers' strike in 2007-8, they've stockpiled a ton of content to where they can have new content being released as this strike is going on.
But eventually, that stockpile drops, just as worker savings disappear. Right?
But that's the argument, though, is that that makes management's side able to hold out longer than the workers' side, generally speaking.
It just depends. How big is that stockpile? Because they haven't been loading it up since 2008. Wow, that's a weird fashion on this actor who was kind of famous then, and I can't remember.
If we see the Batgirl movie coming out as the big summer blockbuster of 2024, we know we're in trouble.
Right?